Well, does your home seem a bit off? Well, it could be as simple as the ratio of your furniture to your home. Interior designer Jewel Blair is here to teach us about scale. Now, a lot of times we're looking in magazines and we see this big, beautiful, page with everything just perfect, and we want it, and we try it, and it doesn't work. What did we do wrong?
Those homes are all based on very large scale. That's why we love them. They're lush, they're luxurious, they have all this detail. And you can translate that to a smaller home just by picking up some of those and making sure the scale is right. So we're going to talk about a design principle, which is called scale.
Okay, I think that's very important, because obviously if you have a really small room, and you want that great big leopard sofa, it might not look as good as it did in the magazine.
Right, we need to bring it down to maybe a leopard chair.
Okay,
and it'll still work.
So how do we go about doing this and determining this?
When you're looking at your room and you're trying to determine scale, you take into consideration the entire space, floor to ceiling.
Okay.
If you have a lower ceiling, then your scale is going to be lower than a lot of the pictures that you see in these magazines. So then we start considering, how can I bring in all of those luxurious details into my home? If you look at this picture, we've got cove ceilings, we've got trimming around the windows. That's all very grand. It looks absolutely gorgeous, but it's lush because of all those details that are there. The next slide has the same thing. All of the cove ceiling, those draperies that are full, they come all the way to the floor, they're really high, bookcase, the built-in, and that large light fixture. That's not going to work in your standard living room setting, so you need to consider what kind of space you have to work with.
Now, on the opposite, with keeping this picture, you see those little stools right there? They look a little small. Can you have things in a great big room that are too small for the room?
I don't know about too small. Those particular pieces there are added for interest and to have a conversation piece. So, so a conversation area, not a piece. So that's why those work in that particular space.
Okay.
So when you're looking at your home, there's some things that you can use that I call the elements of visual space. This is a standard kitchen that we're looking at. It looks very, very nice. It has some of the detail into the cabinets, and they use color to fill the space in to give you a more grand look than, say, pastel walls. And that's the kind of tricks that you can pull from those luxurious homes into your home to make them work.
Because that makes it look bigger?
Yes, it makes it look more lush. You're not going to actually increase the space, but you can increase the appearance of the space just by using some tricks with visual weight.
Okay.
Now, we're going to talk about sometimes furniture, absolute same size furniture. 2 tables, one made of wood, one made of glass.
Okay.
Those 2 tables are the exact same size. The wooden table looks to take up more space because wood has more visual weight.
Right.
Glass, of course, has less visual weight. So if you're trying to keep a space open, but you want to make it still look lush, you can add details depending on the materials that the items are made of.
So going with more of the clear.
Yeah, a lot of people use glass coffee tables for that reason. You have to have some place to put things, but you don't want to close in the area with something heavy, so they'll use a glass coffee table.
But does it also depend on your look? Because I think glass and I think contemporary, or can you, and it's not as warm, but can you make it look pretty warm just depending on how you accent it?
There are some beautiful traditional pieces that have inlaid beveled glass. And it gives you that same reflection of light. You can see through it so that the visual weight is not there.
So it doesn't have to be all glass, it doesn't have to be all wood. It can be a little of both.
A little bit of both, right.
Okay.
And then the next couple of pictures that we have talk about visual weight based on color and fabric. These are 3 identical chairs. Identical chairs. That red chair pops right out at you, the brown chair looks much smaller, and the beige chair just kind of goes away. So here we're using color to make the difference in visual weight.
Right. Which one would you use for a smaller room? Does it matter? It doesn't matter on the color there?
It depends on the I would like to use the red because I think even small rooms need to have something that is going to pop and have interest and bring the room out. So I would, if not red, some other kind of bright color.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do we have another picture
here
as well?
We have one other slide. Same chair in 3 different fabrics. Which one would you say looks heavier?
The one on the left.
That is because of the bold fabric. So we have all this bold fabric thing takes up more visual space, which makes that chair looks like it's taking up more space, but it really isn't. They're all the same.
Perfect. I mean, it's really interesting when you see them all side by side, which one jumps out at you and which one would sort of blend right into the walls, which is sort of good when you want the room to look bigger.
Right, and that you just have to have all those kinds of things in mind. You can have those looks, but you have to be able to bring them in and keep that visual space in mind.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I always learn so much when you're with us.
Well, thank you.
So you can always give Jewel a call, and her information is going to be on our website.